Alright, we're back already. Look at that. That didn't take long, did it? As promised, this is going to be the full reptile room tour video. So, shouldn't wait long, probably should get started. I know this video has been long anticipated, and I don't think I've done one for close to a year. Keep in mind that I've moved here only about a month and a half ago. There's still some things I need to change around. There's some things I need to tweak. Like the turtle over there on the floor, he needs to go on a stand, and you know, there's things I want to do. It's going to be work in progress, but you know, keep watching the channel and you'll get to follow along with that progress. And I think the first thing we're going to do is go through the snakes. Alright, so in an attempt to do this as quick and easy as possible, I've actually taken a bunch of snakes out of the racks. Some of them have lids on because they can escape otherwise. I have 11 snakes total. 7 of them live in the racks in these bins, and then there's 4 on the shelf by that back window. So we'll go through these rack snakes first, and we're starting off with this guy, or girl. I believe this is a female actually, but I've never probed any of my snakes or popped them or anything like that. I don't have the experience. Nobody's ever walked me through it, so I just kind of guess when it comes to these things. So this one here is Mad Max, and Mad Max is a striped California king snake. I've had Mad Max, you know, I'm going to throw out some years, but I really don't remember when I got who, and I should keep it written down or something, but oh well. 3 or 4 years? It's a shot in the dark, but somewhere in that range, yeah. And I suspect Mad Max is a female, just due in part to size, and also she's a musker, so I'm not gonna pick her up. And when she musks, she throws out all her innards. And I've never seen the hemipenes come out, so I suspect Mad Max is a female, but it doesn't really matter. And she gets her name, you know, because she's kind of got an attitude. She's never bitten me, but she musks and flails and hisses, and also because, you know, her pattern, she looks kind of like a road, you know, Mad Max, the Road Warrior. Yeah, it's a stretch, I know. All right. Next up, we have another California king snake. This one is Reptilicus, and this actually, hands down, one of my favorite snakes that I own. I mean, I like king snakes in general, and California king snakes in particular, but this is my dude, and I've had him about as long as I've had Mad Max, a little bit longer. Trying to get him out of there for you guys to take a look at him. He is he was sold as a high white California king snake. I'm not 100% sure on the morph or locality, and I got him from Ben Siegel Reptiles. Here he goes, and he is just a great snake. Great personality, great for shows. He doesn't bite, doesn't musk. Generally a good eater, although this winter he's slowed down on eating, and he must have leveled out on in the appetite department, because he just doesn't eat as much as he used to. But he's not growing like he was used to either, so there he is. He's got a really, I love the pattern on his head. Kind of looks like one of those ink block Rorschach tests. That's probably what I should have named him, but it's Reptilicus. And here we have the very first snake that I ever got. This is Rita, and Rita is a Pueblan milk snake. I got her from a local pet shop about 6 years ago, I'd say. That sounds about right, 5 or 6 years ago. And how old is she? Gosh. Again, I'm not sure the gender on this one either. I never popped her or probed her. It's just a guess. I think she was about 6 years old when I got her, so it would make her about 12. Yeah, beautiful snake. She's hard to hold because she moves a lot, but again, this is a snake that does not musk or bite, and is a great show snake. We love her, and she goes everywhere with me if I'm presenting reptiles to any groups of youngsters or anything like that. Check her out. Isn't she beautiful? She just shed recently, so you get to see her in all her glory. And here we have another fresh shed. Look at that. Nice whole shed. Isn't that nice when that happens? That's a keeper. This is Cornelius. Cornelius is a Miami phase corn snake. So Miami phase is a naturally occurring color phase. And check it out. I mean, you can see that he just shed. Wow, what a beauty. Cornelius is a really cool snake. My only corn snake. And the first corn snake I ever owned. And I really wanted an Okatee corn snake. That's another naturally occurring color variation. But I came across him and I couldn't say no. I mean, how could you? Look at that. He's just beautiful. And we've had him. I got him at a reptile show. I got him just over a year ago, actually. About a year and a half, maybe. You can go back and watch the video, actually. But yeah, he's a beautiful snake. Alright, next up we have one of the snakes. I'm going to present this one in hand, I guess. Oh, maybe not. There she goes. This is Priscilla, and Priscilla is a bull snake. Longtime fan of bull snakes. Think they're some of the coolest snakes in the country. Some of our coolest native snakes, and there she goes. She's not going to stay out long, but you can check her out. Priscilla I got from the same show that I got Cornelius, and she's very cage defensive, but once you get her out she usually calms down. But she does hiss and puff up, and it's a typical bull snake thing. And if you go back and watch those earlier videos when I just got her, she was just walking by her cage, she would start flipping out. But she's calmed down a lot recently. Yeah, let's see, she probably, her tail's rattling. Look at that. And these guys are kind of, you could call them rattlesnake mimics in the wild. They do kind of look like and act like a rattlesnake. There she is. But yeah, she's definitely calmed down. And I love her. Another one of my favorites. Wish I could take her to shows, but she gets pretty temperamental. Needs more human interactions. What snake collection would be complete without a ball python or two? This is especially true if you like to present your animals to the public, because ball pythons are one of the best reptile ambassadors you can find. This is Thor. Thor has been with me for about a year, and he is a pastel yellow belly genetic stripe. A very active ball python by ball python standards. And as a typical ball python, just a great temperament. Also a good eater, which is kind of uncharacteristic for a ball python. I'm trying to keep him in his bin here, because now that it's open, he's going to try to get out. Not today, buddy. Not today. And up next, this is Cleo. Cleo is a pastel ball python, and the snake, my second snake after Rita. Let's see, so about 5 years or so for her too. A great snake, again, very popular. People love her. She's the largest snake in my collection currently, certainly by weight, maybe not by length, but she's a heavy girl, and as you can see, like most ball pythons, she's about as interesting as a pet rock. She doesn't do much. And I know some ball python people are probably going to get offended by that, but it's not a knock against them, it's just the way they are. They're not a very active snake, that's all. Which is partly why I'm more drawn to the colubrids and stuff than I am the pythons, but she's an impressive animal nonetheless, and I love her. And it'd be nice if she would stretch out a little bit for us, but I don't know that that's going to happen. There she goes. Here's a fun snake that's always out and on the move. This is Elvira. Elvira is an eastern chain king snake. And one of my favorite species, living down here in Maryland now. I can't wait to find one of these in the wild because they do occur naturally down here. Great feeding response, great personality, not a non-biter, but she does hiss a lot when you first interact with her. But she's always out and about, always curious about her surroundings, and these snakes get big. They're one of the larger king snake varieties, so I can't wait for her to get some size on her. They get about 6 feet or so, sometimes more, so looking forward to that. It's one of the reasons I wanted one. But just that pattern on her is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. And I've had her close to 2 years now. It'll be 2 years this April. Here we have another snake freshly shed, and good thing for it because she is an absolute stunner. This is Namira. Namira is a gray-banded king snake, another one of my favorite species. Really beautiful, great personality on her. She might be the prettiest snake in my collection, in my opinion, of course. But she's kind of popular on the channel, and kind of popular in general. I've had a few people offer to buy her off me, but she's with me forever. I'm never getting rid of her. I wanted one of these for a long time, and when I finally got one, I fell right in love with her. And she's another one that's always out and about, always on the move, so I like to keep her behind glass so I can watch her. And she's a very curious snake. She's looking at the camera right now. And a great feeding response too. Next up we have the most complicated snake in my collection. Complicated in terms of personality anyway. She's kind of a jerk. This is Paquita, and Paquita is a hypomelanistic Everglades rat snake. A beautiful snake for sure, and another colubrid that'll eventually get some size to her, which is another reason I wanted her. But not a snake you handle generally unless you feel like getting bit. She's very sassy, and her feeding response is a bit hit and miss too. I've actually toyed around with the idea of just getting rid of her, but I can't bring myself to do it. And who else would want her, you know? Who else would want to take care of this problem child of a snake? Had her about 2 or 3 years, somewhere in there. I'm not entirely sure. Before I had my channel going, that's that much I know. And we're not going to bother her because she just, you know, she doesn't like it. Doesn't want to be bothered, so why do it? Usually she's curled up on this branch, and it'd be nice if she was there today, but oh well, she's hiding out in her rock. And that's fine too. Next up we have Celine, the blood python. She's my newest snake. You can probably see her about 2 or 3 videos ago when I just got her this past October. I think it was October. She's been excellent, no bites, and a great feeding response. She's eaten every meal I presented her, which makes me very happy, especially since she's still young and has a lot of growing to do. Very much like a ball python, she's kind of more like a pet rock than anything else. She doesn't do much. So, you know, you'll forgive me for this her small quarters, but when they're small like this, you know, they do better this way. They like to feel secure, and she likes to bury down into that mulch, and pretty much the only time she moves is when she drinks or eats. And for a snake, I see her drinking quite a bit. But another snake, okay, they get about as long as a ball python, but about twice as heavy. It's a really girthy snake, and I can't wait. I'm very excited to finally have one of these. Snake that's been on my want list for a long time. And that wraps it up with the snakes, guys. We just plowed through all 11 of them. You know, if you feel like I go a little too fast and you'd like me to slow down and talk about anybody in particular, I can always make a video about an individual animal. All you gotta do is let me know and I'll work on it. I got a long list of videos I gotta make, so, you know, feel free to suggest what you'd like to see. So next we'll move on to someone else. Alright, next up we'll do the lizards. Why not? This is Steven. Steven is a bearded dragon, of course. He is a, I don't know his morph. I guess you could say he's a citrus. His mother was a citrus and his father too, so. I bred him here at home. He's one of the babies I hatched out from my original bearded dragon pair, Martha and Eli. Martha's passed away and Eli's been rehomed. But they had 14 babies together. It was the first and only time I've bred bearded dragons so far, and the experience it was a learning experience for sure. So Steven's the only baby I kept from that batch because he is missing an arm. And I still get people looking back on that video where I talk about his missing arm, and I just want to tell them, you know, watch a more recent video. Check out Steven. Check out how he's doing, because he's doing pretty good. He functions quite well. And someday I'll have him breed with my other bearded dragon, who I'll talk about here in a minute. But yeah, look at him. Isn't he beautiful? I just love Steven. He's one of my favorites. And there's his stubby arm. But it doesn't slow him down at all. He gets around great. In fact, he even escaped once. It's the only bearded dragon I've ever had escape on me. So I didn't think I had to keep a screen lid on him, I guess, but I do. And there's Steven. He's becoming a big boy. Aren't you, Steven? Great temperament too on him. Next up we have Beans, my female bearded dragon. She's a little bit younger than Steven over there. Steven is pushing 2 years old, and she'll be 2 years old this upcoming summer. And eventually she's to breed with Steven and make me some more baby bearded dragons, but she's too small right now, so I don't know, she might have to wait another year. She's a great little beardie, but she's got a lot of sass, as you can see. She's very, she's a little flighty. She's not used to being held too often, I guess. But she does have a great feeding response, and she's a very curious lizard, and I just love her. Love her to pieces. And she is absolutely beautiful with those red markings. Alright, so next up we have Turok, the Chuckwalla, a really cool species of lizard from the desert, southwestern deserts of the United States. One of the lizards that gets larger in size. After the Gila monster, the Chuckwalla is the second largest lizard in the country. He's not a particularly large Chuckwalla, mind you, but they do get quite large. I've seen some bigger specimens. And I've had him close to 2 years now. Got him at a reptile show. As you can see, he is not friendly at all. So he doesn't get held a lot or anything like that. He just keeps to himself. When I first got him, he put me through the ringer. I was terrified. The only thing I could get him to eat was dandelion flowers. And I was worried I wouldn't have enough food for him, especially outside of dandelion season. But we pulled through, and he eats just about everything now, except that it's winter and he slows down in the winter. He hasn't really eaten much since we moved down here to Maryland. But he will, and he's one of the lizards, along with the bearded dragons, that'll get outdoor enclosure, I hope, this summer. And yeah, that's Turok the Chuckwalla. Up next we have one of the most popular animals on my channel, and one I get asked about a lot. I get asked to do care videos and stuff on this guy, and I do actually have one of my first videos. It's not a great video, and I probably should redo it anyway. But this is Ogopogo, and Ogopogo is a Russian legless lizard, also known as a Sheltopusik. I think I'm saying that right. Or a glass lizard. They have lots of names. And this is a really cool species. Not a snake, 100% a lizard, and no legs. Also the largest of the various species of legless lizards, of which there are many. Ogopogo is one of my all-time favorite animals. I absolutely love her, even though she is not friendly. She whips her tail at you, and it's pretty stiff. She's not flexible like a snake. She whips her tail at you and also hisses and thrashes and does barrel rolls in your hands. So she doesn't get held a lot, but I still take her to shows on occasion just because she's just too cool not to. And you know, I won't talk too much about her because I got a lot to go through, but I do intend on doing a more in-depth video about her and her uniqueness and her care requirements, which are actually quite simple for a lizard. So and there's Ogopogo. Alright, next up we have Lila and Gorgo. These are African fat-tailed geckos. Both of them are damaged in their own ways. They both have regrown tails, and Lila is actually missing an eye. I got her that way, adopted her from a pet store. So I've been hand feeding her for the last 3 or 4 years that I've had them. But as you can see, she eats well. She's got a nice fat tail on her. Again, they've kind of slowed down recently because of the winter, but Gorgo looks like he might be interested in some springtime activities. And I do want eggs from these guys, but for some reason every batch of eggs she's laid, and there have been a few, I haven't been able to hatch them right. So, you know, trial and error, try again next time and hope for the best. I would love to breed these two. Really cool lizard, very similar to the leopard gecko, of course. Also similar in care, except that they do like a higher humidity, and I have to soak them pretty regularly. Otherwise they get stuck shut on their toes. And that was Lila. You can see her missing eyeball up there. And that one there is Gorgo. And next up we have Big Mama, the giant Madagascar day gecko. Such a beautiful lizard. Yeah, Big Mama's kind of a lazy name, I know, but she's produced a lot of babies for me over the years. And she's retired now. Her mate died just over a year ago. His name was Garrido. And so she kept producing fertile eggs, and I actually just sold her last babies this past fall, and she's all done. She's retired, and I'm retired from day geckos because, as gorgeous as they are, you can't hold them, and it's kind of a pain when they escape and you have to chase them around. So I want to change my focus onto something else. But day geckos are the first lizards I ever bred, and a beautiful species. Alright, next up we have the crested geckos, starting with Gatorface. Gatorface is a female crested gecko. I'm not entirely sure what morph she is. She's got some pinstriping on the side there. She might be a harlequin, I don't know. If you know anything about crested geckos, let me know. But I got her in a trade about a year ago for some day geckos. And she has developed quite nicely, a very beautiful gecko. She's not big on being handled though, so we're just going to put her back here. If she'll go back. Well, there we go, we get a cool shot of her anyway. Oh, come here, girl. And I might breed her with my male someday, I'm not sure. Alright, we'll see. Next up we have Yoshi. Yoshi's my male crested gecko. And he's even more skittish than Gatorface, so I don't know how long he's going to let me hold on to him. I believe he's an olive crested gecko. And again, he's produced a lot of babies for me. He's always looked a bit on the skinny side, but I think that's just his build because he does eat very well. And I've had him a number of years now without any issues. Yeah. So here we have Big Red, and I wish she was fired up because she is a beautiful bicolor red crested gecko. Nice size on her. As far as my crested geckos go, yeah, I hate to pick favorites, but she's it. And yeah, they're gone. Yeah, forget it. But there you go, crested geckos. And now with that, we're done with the lizards. And time to move on to something else. And since we're right next to one, it might as well be frogs. So up here we have my African bullfrog. I don't want to lose my lid. This is my African bullfrog. We never did give him a name, but I think it's Pickle Rick. Okay, he looks like a pickle, and who doesn't love Rick and Morty, right? So yeah, that's Pickle Rick, I guess, and he's doing pretty good. He didn't take to the move very well. It got cold in here, and I had to put him in my bedroom for a few days. But now it's the temperature's gone back up, and it's considerably warmer, so he's considerably happier. And he was one of 2 African bullfrogs that I bought almost 2 years ago, and the other one had passed away for mysterious reasons. So I love African bullfrogs, and I keep a sharp eye on this guy because I don't want to lose him too. And we'll get talking about frogs and my stressful relationship with them here as we move across the room. But there he is, and give him a poke just to see how big he is. He's up on a higher shelf, so it's hard for me to reach him, but yeah, as you can see, he's grown a lot. There he is. Alright, so next up, this is Worf. Worf is a southern toad, and I got him at a reptile show last April. In fact, let's talk about that show and what I brought home. You can go back and watch the video if you want. I got him, a Colorado river toad, and albino American bullfrog. He was the cheapest, Worf, $15, and so far he's the only one that has survived. Me and frogs have had a complicated relationship, apparently. I keep losing them for some reason. The African bullfrog died of a fungal infection, and I have no idea why the river toad died. I was following I was following the books on him, and he just stopped eating, and I couldn't snap him out of it, and he passed away pretty quickly too. But Worf here is a cute little toad, southern toad, and here he goes. And I think he'll be here for a long time because he looks like he's in good shape. And that's the thing with frogs and toads with me now, is I think I'm just going to keep easy species because I try to venture outside my comfort zone with them, and it never seems to work out right. Yes, I do have an affinity for toads. So I was really bummed out when I lost my river toad, but here we have yet another, and this one is an American toad, a very common native species, and was relinquished to me by somebody that didn't want her anymore. And she's a beautiful specimen, though. She's got great coloration, and she's got good size on her too. Very nice looking toad, and yeah, so nothing fancy for me anymore. I think I'll just keep stuff like this, the easier stuff. Check her out. And her name is Large Marge. And I better put her back down before she pees. Next up we have the cane toads, also known as marine toads, the notorious invasive species in Australia, and also they're invasive in Florida too. That one is Tinkles, and Tinkles I've had for about 2 years now. This one I got this past summer, and I still don't have a name for him, so still working on that. But this one's the larger of the two, and check him out. Or her. Hopefully her. The females get bigger. But yeah, such a cool toad. Invasives they may be, but it does not take away from their cool factor. Nice. Who doesn't love a big fat toad? But we won't abuse them. Alright, I'm not going to show them all to you, but here's one of 8 southern leopard frogs. Another popular critter on my channel since I started it a couple years ago. They sing a lot, they breed a lot, and draw a lot of attention. I don't know why. They're just they're a native species. They're kind of skittish. They're not very colorful or anything, but people seem to like them, and I like them too. I got them in a planted tank with a bunch of pothos and I think just a dragon plant. And that was one there. Let's see if we can find at least a couple more. And I got the lid off, so I want to be careful because they will jump out and I'll never see them again. There's one. Focus. Yep, there's one of them. Yeah, and they've bred every year for like the past past two springs, and I've had them for 3 or 4 years. I got them as tadpoles from PetSmart feeder tank, and I guess that's part of the reason they're so popular, just because, you know, they're kind of unconventional. And I think it's cool that I raise them from tadpoles too. And yeah, I'm kind of hoping I can put these guys outside in the summer. They're native to this area. I mean, I'm not going to put them outside for them to escape and get away, but maybe like in some kind of fenced-in enclosure type setup, which I'm toying around with different ideas in my head. I think I can make it work, and that would be really cool. They'd like it out there, and maybe even they could stay out there year-round. There's a nice fat one. A bit troubling though. I did lose one recently. I had 9 at one point, and one of them just passed away the other day. This was back to back with losing both my green tree frogs, Tucker and Dale, who were pushing it in age 2, but for them to die all back to back, it seems kind of odd. So I'm keeping a close eye on all my frogs. I'm very paranoid about frogs. Every time I keep them, something seems to go sour. So I'm really worried, and I got to make sure that they're all in good shape. And speaking of easy species, does it get any easier than this? These are Fire-Bellied Toads. Everyone knows Fire-Bellied Toads. It's a great first amphibian, and they're a lot of fun to keep. Very active as far as frogs go. These guys sing. They're always out in the open. Always eat. And a lot of fun. I have 3 of them in here total. And even though they're a common species, you know, I don't get it. Some people like to rip on the more common species. Like, oh boy, you got Fire-Bellied Toads, whoop-de-doo. Or corn snakes, ball pythons, leopard geckos, blah blah blah. But they're all really cool, and and easy to keep, which is nice. I like to have stress-free pets. Yeah, so this is Jeremiah. Jeremiah is probably my favorite frog in my collection, if I was going to be perfectly honest. He's just an average, everyday American bullfrog. And I decided after my albino died, I paid $60 for an albino bullfrog, and it died, that next bullfrog would just be a normal bullfrog. And so I found him, and he's been with me since June or July, and has just grown leaps and bounds, looks absolutely beautiful, eats great, and I just absolutely adore him. He's got a very strong feeding response, so I got to film him through the screen, otherwise he will get out. And he sings too, which is awesome. I love bullfrog calls, and that was part of the reasons I wanted one. Alright, next up we're going to go through the tortoises and turtles, and then end off with the birds and mammals, of which there are not many. So we're getting to the end here. On the right in front of me here, the biggest of the three that you see munching down on some collards is Raquel. Raquel is a female Russian tortoise. They're all Russian tortoises, of course. Next after her is Russell, and then the one in the end is Rosie. Russell I've had the longest. I've had him almost 3 years. Raquel, I've had her about a year. And Rosie is the newest one. I've had her since October. And they're all doing great. They just chow down on everything you put in front of them. They're always hungry. They're voracious. And Raquel in particular, you can see those lighter colored bands on her shell. That's all new growth. She is just enormous. Look at her. She was about Russell's size or smaller. Probably size of Rosie over there when I got her, and she's just grown magnificently. I'm very proud of her. And my plan is to breed these guys. This summer they're going to go outdoors. I didn't hybridate them obviously this year, but with the move and everything I was a little leery of it. If they don't breed this spring, and I do believe Raquel at least is old enough to breed. If they don't breed this spring, then I'll probably hybridate them next year. But they will hopefully be spending most of this summer outdoors. Below them is Iro. Iro is an elongated tortoise, and he hasn't been doing much since we moved here. I think he's in a state of brumation. Best as I can tell, he hasn't been eating much. He'll eat some fruit here and there, but I've kind of laid off him, and I don't really bother him much right now until he decides to start moving around and eating. His temperatures are alright. He's an elongated tortoise, so they prefer temperatures sort of on the cooler side, or they can at least tolerate them. So I don't know. I don't think it's the temperature that's affecting them. So it must be just the daylight, the day and night cycle. And all the reptiles have slowed down considerably, but him probably the most. And he just hangs out back there. It has me a little worried because I haven't had him for even quite a year yet. But it's probably just my paranoia. I think he'll be alright. I weigh him and make sure he's not losing a significant amount of weight. And you just saw a cricket roll by there. I'm going to have to get that thing out of there. I have crickets loose all over this place, needless to say. And a lot of them just end up in here, and I don't know why. So anyways, yeah, that's Iro, and he is definitely going outside in the spring and summer. Next up we have Bertha. Bertha is a red-footed tortoise, approximately 4 to 5 years old. I got her for free as well last spring. Somebody that couldn't house her anymore, didn't have the space, and handed her off to me. And I absolutely love this tortoise. She's a lot of fun. And she too has slowed down a lot. She eats more than Iro over there, but she's kind of lost her appetite, what with it being middle of winter and everything. And again, another tortoise that I'd like to put outside this summer, and maybe someday, you know, get her a couple friends, another female or two, and a male, and maybe try breeding them. We'll see how it goes with the Russian tortoises before I decide to breed anything else as far as tortoises go. And here we have Rooter. Rooter is a loggerhead musk turtle. Musk turtles are probably my favorite aquatic turtles. or certainly high up on the list. I just love these little guys. They don't get very large. What you see there is about the maximum sizes. Maybe got a 4-inch shell length. And just look at him. He looks so prehistoric. He's got that enormous head on him. He looks almost like a tiny snapping turtle. And he's got a lot of personality. He's always climbing around and exploring his tank. Usually at night. They're kind of nocturnal. But as you can see, that's not a mouth you'd want to get chomped by. And he does share his aquarium with this this crayfish. I used to have a bunch of these crayfish, but this is the last one now. It just molted the other day, so we'll see how it goes. I moved 2 of them down with me and did lose one during the move. But yeah, I strongly recommend musk turtles and mud turtles, especially as first-time turtles. We're not going to get a good shot of them. Just because they do stay small and they have a ton of personality. A much better alternative to red-eared sliders and the other cooters and sliders and painted turtles and things like that. And here we have old man Raphael. Raph has been with me for 26 years. This is year 26. I got him in 1992. I was just a little boy when I got him, and he's been everywhere with me, and now he's down in Maryland. And he handled the move quite well. Although he hasn't been eating much. He's slowed down with the winter, and he usually does in the winter as well. He slows down. But he'll be alright. I don't worry about Raph much anymore just because of our history together. Right now I got him in a 75-gallon tank. I feel kind of bad because it was a downgrade. He wasn't a 100-gallon tank at my New York home, but oh well. What are you gonna do? And you'll pardon the algae in this tank. Here's the last of the turtles that we have to go through. This is my little Florida snapper. And she's got some algae growth on her head and shell too, as you can see. She's in a 10-gallon tank right now, but of course eventually she'll need something much larger. Alright, and she has grown quite a bit. I got her from Underground Reptiles, first and only order I've ever made from them so far, and I'm pretty pleased with the result. She's a good little turtle and very healthy, and she is growing, although maybe not as fast as I would like. But look at her, she's a cute little thing. Of course, you don't want her to grow too fast because I will have to house her in something enormous someday. But you know, I'm aware of that and totally prepared for the responsibility. And she just got done eating. And this is Rupert, probably the most miserable rabbit I've ever met, to be honest. He's adorable and he's got really pretty markings, but he's not friendly at all. You can't pet him or hold him or anything like that. I've had rabbits my whole life. This one's technically my wife's, but of all the rabbits I've had, I've never had one that wouldn't let you pet it. And even working at a pet store too, they were always generally pretty friendly. My wife got him from somebody else who had a couple other rabbits, and just this one didn't get along with them, I guess. So doesn't seem like he gets along with anybody really, so I guess that's just his personality. But he's got some space here. He's got a nice fenced in area, and maybe out in the summer he'll go outside, I don't know. Kind of hesitant to put him outside because if he got away you'd never catch him. On the rare cases that he's gotten out of this enclosure, he's given me the runaround, let's put it that way. And this is Doris. And you can tell what she is. She is a rat, or as I call her, you know, snake food. I'm not terribly interested in pet rats. I do acknowledge that they make great pets. I just never really wanted one myself. This one is actually one that my brother-in-law found at his workplace. Just running around out there, and he picked it up and brought it home one day. No doubt it's an escaped pet. She's very sweet. She's very friendly. I like her a lot. But she will bite your fingers through the bars because that's how we give her treats and stuff. And yeah, not much else to say about her, I guess. Like I said, she's a very sweet animal, very friendly. And even though I've never really wanted rats as pets, I suppose this is as good as you could get with one. Now this little critter is Stella, and Stella is another animal on my channel that gets a lot of attention. She is a Brazilian short-tailed opossum. I've had her for almost a year now, coming this spring. She's really cute, as you can see. Look at those little beady eyes. And she's looking for food. But she's a nasty little thing. She bites bad. And her bite doesn't hurt that much, but her teeth are like little pins and needles. So if she gets you in the right spot, like by a cuticle or under your fingernail, ooh. So yeah, we don't hold her. And she's got a 55-gallon tank here, so she's got a lot of room. A lot of branches and stuff to climb around on, and a wheel. And I guess I got to do a video on her, a care video, although there are better care videos than anything I could produce. I'm still kind of new to the possum thing. She's the first one I've ever had, and I mean, I'm still doing my research, so until I feel better educated about them, I don't know when I'll do a video. But yep, she is a real opossum, a marsupial. She's not a mouse or a rat or even related to them. She's related to other opossums and kangaroos and koalas and marsupials like that. Alright, next up we have Gadnuk, Breaker of Worlds. He is a Cartoonix quail, also known as a Japanese quail. And I used to have two of these guys. The other one was a female named Kevin. She was brown, and she passed away fairly recently. Not long before the move down here. And so I feel bad for him. He's all alone now, and I've been keeping my eye out for some female companions for him. If I don't find any soon, though, I might just say to heck with it and just let him live out his days as a bachelor. I'm not sure I want to get more quail or not. If I do get more quail, I would like to have them in an outdoor setup, like a mini chicken coop kind of ordeal. And speaking of which, you can watch this channel for chickens too, because I do intend on getting those, what with all the yard space I have now. But it would be kind of cool to have a bunch of these quail with a chicken coop type setting. The female had laid eggs all the time. She laid an egg every day, and it was nice having those around. And what would be really cool is to have like a little farming operation going where I have all these quail eggs, and then I can get one of those African egg-eating snakes. How cool would that be? But you know, at the moment I just have the male, so no females, no eggs, and it's just a pipe dream for now. But there's Gadnuk, and he's getting kind of nervous about being filmed, so we'll leave him alone. Alright, so we don't have a lot of birds in the house. Just Gadnuk and these two. These two are parakeets, of course. The white one up front here is Harvey. He's a really cool little bird. He's got a cool backstory. As you can see, he's missing some feathers around his eye. So the pet store that I got him from couldn't sell him. They could only adopt him out, and he sat there for several months until I broke down and was like, okay, I guess I need a parakeet now. Technically he belongs to my wife, but he's pretty popular around here and I like him a lot. Back there is his friend Kiki, who was supposed to be a female, but I'm not great at sexing parakeets, so who the hell knows. But they get along, and that's all that really matters. And Harvey is a very talkative little bird. Kiki's more reserved, but Harvey's pretty friendly. He'll even sit on your hand if you are patient with him. But yep, those are the parakeets, Harvey and Kiki. And yeah, that wraps it up for the birds. Alright, I debated including these guys at all because these are my wife's hermit crabs, and they're not technically in the reptile room. They live in the bedroom next to my wife's nightstand. And also, since it's the middle of the day, I know they're all sleeping. She's had these guys about since August, and there are 4 of them in here. She has a whole video about them on my channel if you want to check it out. And maybe if she's feeling ambitious, someday she'll make another one. Yeah, so they're all hiding. I can see the shell of one right there, but I'm not going to disturb them. So yeah, 4 hermit crabs in there. As you can see, they have quite the setup. The dirt's kind of packed down. She needs to stir that back up. But keeping hermit crabs is more complicated than most people would appreciate. And if you're going to get these guys, you really do need to do a lot of homework. They live a long time, and their care is fairly complicated, at least compared to what most people assume it would be. So yeah, there's the hermit crabs. Sorry that you're not going to get to see any, but you know, like I said, watch that other video and you will. And since we're in the bedroom, might as well check out the cats. I have 2 cats. There's Whiskey over there, And there's Jonesy. And Jonesy here is my good friend. I don't like to pick favorites, but of all the animals in the house, I just love this guy. He's a sweetheart. He's my buddy. He's about 5 or 6 years old, I think. Yeah, show everybody those choppers. And then Whiskey is, she's a little bit older. I think around 10 or 12, somewhere in there. But I love cats. I've had cats all my life. Definitely more of a cat person than a dog person. I don't know how you guys will feel about that, but there they are, and I'll let them get back to sleep, since you're probably not here to look at cats. And since we took the time to go over the cats, we might as well take a look at the dogs. I have 2 dogs, even though, like I said, I am more of a cat person. This one here's Boo. Boo is technically my dog. The other one is Monty, who is my wife's dog. And he's gonna poop. Okay, back to Boo. Boo is a lot of fun to play ball with. She's a great outdoor dog. Great for hiking and playing with. Inside the house, she takes up a lot of space and frequently gets in the way. She's a Bernese Mountain Dog mix, about 3 years old. Probably Lab and Border Collie, I'm not entirely sure. But as you can see, she'll bring the ball back and drop it. And you'll probably have seen her in a few of my herping videos, and you'll probably see her again. She frequently goes out with me when I go on hikes and adventures. And Monty's getting really small out there in the distance. And he's a Chihuahua, yeah, about 10 years old or so, I guess, 6 or 10. And for a Chihuahua, he's not bad. He still has mistakes in the house once in a while, but he has a great personality. He's very friendly with everyone. Not at all a yap dog like most Chihuahuas. He's not an ankle biter. He gets along with everyone and just wants to curl up on your lap. But yeah, I guess that about wraps it up for this video, guys. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that. It's a long video, but I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, if you want to see anybody else in particular, just let us know. That's my pet vulture, guys. His name is Voltron. And I pick up roadkill and I throw it out here in the yard for him. And he's very friendly. You know, sometimes he'll sit on my shoulder and watch TV with me and things like that. And we'll share chicken wings together. But right now he's spreading his wings and getting some air time.